This is my dog on King David. On B, that's my roadie.
Hold on, man, I got Zaza.
They even blocked the ambulance off from getting to him. See, that's what they don't want the world to know. But I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna get justice for my son.
Okay, we have a 10-1, 50 East Oak, shots fired, shots fired.
EMS 11 is taking male black northwest. 32 is going to go to the hospital, serious condition. We have a total of 4 shooters. In addition to that, I'm being told one of them did have a weapon. An officer needs to be in those ambulances, and they need to be searched.
Smoke the wood to the duck. Smoke the wood to the duck, you know? Shit can happen to you. You could die. Whatever can happen, like, you know?
Tell her what we doing today, Gleese. We on the block.
Get it on. We on the block. Look, pull up. Y'all know when he come out, it's a fucking movie. Pull up in the lot. On BD, just pull up in the lot.
On August 4th, 2020, it looked like an old-time outfit attack here on Chicago's Oak Street. 2 attack cars, 4 shooters, and a hail of bullets. But the target wasn't a 1930s gangster. He was a new millennium rapper, FBG Duck.
On the morning of August 4th, 2020, several OBlock members were hanging out on their block, openly selling weed tuka and zaza, as they call it, while casually discussing their operation in front of a camera that was recording live.
This is my dog on King David. On B, that's my roadie.
Hold on, man, I got Zaza.
King David, nigga. Big bag of that shit.
Zaza, stupid, man.
Big grocery bag of that shit. You got in your bag, bitch.
In the hood in the car, gang.
That man, you know that man?
What you got over here, folks, on King David?
Everybody got his block, nigga. And out through the big way, out because of the big whipple. Nigga, really doink, nigga.
No, it is. That's all we do. We smoke. Big point, nigga, on BD.
Yeah, motherfucker, out.
That's my son on King David right there on BD. That's my son on 4 now.
Look how much money y'all made today. Another 100K nigga just walked.
I just came outside like 30 minutes ago. North South Virgin, I swear to God. I remember on BD 30 minutes. It's like 1,200. I still got 2 million friends. We got that shit on us.
It's clear that the guys from OBlock had absolutely no worries about committing crimes on camera for everyone to see. And later that day, we would learn just how far they were willing to take this truly reckless attitude. At 4 a.m. that same morning, FBG Duck wakes up in a bad mood and posts a Facebook status suggesting he's angry about the murder of his brother Brick, saying he hopes he runs into the killer. Little did he know, he would do exactly that later the same day. Because on the afternoon of August 4th, 2020, less than 1 month after releasing his incredibly disrespectful song, Dead Nut, FBG Duck goes shopping in the Gold Coast, a place often described as the Rodeo Drive of Chicago. It's a luxury, high-end shopping district and a high-profile tourist area. It was here that Duck must have been located by his enemies. While he's shopping, 2 vehicles leave OBlock roughly 30 minutes away and arrive directly outside the store Duck is in. At around 4:37 p.m., Duck is confronted outside the Dolce & Gabbana store by approximately 4 masked individuals who jump out of 2 cars and immediately open fire. Duck pulls a gun and tries to return fire, but his weapon jams. He falls to the ground as bullet after bullet tears into his body. Some outlets even reported that he may have been shot as many as 38 times. He's left to die on the street as the shooters flee the scene in their vehicles. A man and a woman standing with Duck at the time are both injured but survive. Soon, scared and confused members of the public begin crowding around Duck's body, with some even recording the aftermath. Eventually, a full 12-minute video is uploaded showing Duck lying on the ground for an extended period, fighting for his life. The footage is far too graphic to show on YouTube, but it proves just how much destruction these killers were willing to bring to the very streets they lived on and to innocent people around them. Duck's mother would later claim that police actually blocked ambulances from getting through, preventing Duck from receiving medical attention in time.
They even blocked the ambulance off from getting to him. See, that's what they don't want the world to know. But I'm gonna tell it, and I'm gonna get justice for my son.
After Duck's killing, this brazen, broad daylight shooting made international news, with reporters comparing the hit to the slayings of Chicago mob bosses back in the 1930s.
On August 4th, 2020, it looked like an old-time outfit attack here on Chicago's Oak Street. 2 attack cars, 4 shooters, and a hail of bullets. But the target wasn't a 1930s gangster. He was a new millennium rapper, FBG Duck.
Considering how publicly this murder was carried out, there was an enormous amount of media attention surrounding Duck's death. And according to his mother, mother, the news had already reported him as dead before she even had the chance to identify her son's body.
The news actually announced he was dead before I can even go to the hospital.
But even more chilling than that, Duck's mother said she witnessed people on the street finding out about the news and clapping in joy.
Somebody actually clapped in the crowd when they pronounced my son being deceased. I hit the floor. I couldn't believe it.
Adding even further insult to Duck's family during this horrible time, the mayor of Chicago released a statement saying that Duck fancied himself as a rapper, but was really just a gangster clearly unaware of the work Duck had been doing to improve his life, or the promise he made to his mother after his brother's death to focus on music instead of the streets. People also made a big deal about the fact that Duck was killed in such an upscale, high-end part of Chicago, far from the rundown hoods where this beef originally started. One article even claimed that Duck had brought a street war between the have-nots into turf controlled by the haves, suggesting that drill rappers are have-nots, who usually only kill each other on the south side where nobody cares. The article went on to say that these killings are done for clout, and compared the white bystanders watching Duck die in the street to a scene from Hotel Rwanda. It argued that because of the socio-economic implications, the location, the crowd, the wealthy neighborhood, there was no way Duck's killers would escape justice. Duck's mother echoed these same thoughts in a later Vlad TV interview.
They want justice for my son just as well as anybody else because they feel they're not safe. If this can happen down here.
Duck's mother also vowed that she would get justice for her son.
I want them prosecuted. If they dead, they're not gonna do nothing.
But for over a year, there was no justice, as Duck's killers managed to evade all consequences for what they had done. Even more shocking, they weren't quiet about it either. They were running free in the streets and all over social media, soaking up every drop of clout they could get just for being involved in this horrific crime. It's no coincidence that following FBG Duck's murder, the cops had several cars watching over OBlock. They were reportedly there to prevent retaliation attacks, with warnings issued to the local community advising young people to stay off the streets because bullets were likely to fly. The police knew where the bullets that killed Duck had come from, and it was a safe bet that some might be sent back toward that direction soon after. But building an actual case to catch Duck's killers would take time. Fortunately, those involved in the crime began dropping crumbs and clues from the very moment they returned from the hit. On the very day FBG Duck was killed, C Murder from OBlock posted a picture on Instagram flashing the GD Killer hand sign with the caption, "Anyway, GDK," referencing a King Von lyric. Meanwhile, Lil Durk went live on Instagram shortly after Duck's death while stepping off a private jet. He didn't say much, but the comments were flooded with people mentioning Duck's murder. Of course, Durk was conveniently out of Chicago at the time, something he had publicly confirmed on Twitter just hours before the hit, with Lil Ree also backing up the alibi. Many speculated that Lil Durk going live so soon after Duck's murder was a calculated move to show the authorities and the public that he was far from the crime scene, the perfect alibi. On the other hand, Durk also tweeted, "Rest in peace, Nusky," his cousin, only an hour and a half after Duck was killed, showing that Duck's death clearly affected him personally. The day after Duck's death, King Von released his song with Lil Durk, All These N-Words. The track didn't have any lyrics specifically about Duck's death, but the timing was notable. The song is filled with Von rapping about having bodies from way back, and releasing it amid all the events surrounding Duck's murder showed that OBlock and their affiliates had no intention of staying quiet. That same day, Mimo600 appeared on IG Live, smoking a blunt, while fans flooded the comments asking if it was Duck he was smoking. He confirmed it, showing off a custom Duck Cali pack. He wasn't the only one showing disrespect. 600 Breezy dropped a snippet of an FBG Duck diss track, publicly debating whether to release it despite Duck being dead. Exactly 10 days after Duck's murder, on August 14th, 2020, King Von was seen in Atlanta at Icebox Jewelers picking up several diamond-encrusted custom OBlock chains for his crew, even posting a list of names who would receive them. While it's unclear what was engraved on every chain, a closer look at Von's personal extra-large OBlock chain reveals the true meaning. It featured the names of 9 fallen OBlock associates, a crosshair, the number 64, the old OBlock name Wick City, and the tagline, OBlock for life. Von kept the extra-large chain for himself, while the smaller chains were distributed to other members, including several now in custody for FBG Duck's murder, people like C Murder and Moo, who flaunted their chains extensively on Instagram. DQ was personally gifted his chain by King Von. For context, Von had been planning to give his shooters chains for months before Duck's murder, being seen on social media as early as May 2020, consulting with his crew about the chains.
Yeah. White gold, yellow gold, or rose gold?
I say white. Yeah.
RICO,
White.
you know how that shit bomb is white.
Vaughn had even been custom designing the chains at Icebox before Duck's death. However, it's slightly curious that we didn't start seeing the chains being shown off until 10 days after Duck's murder, when a full video about them was released on Icebox's YouTube channel. In the video, King Von essentially explains that specific chains are customized for specific get-backs, with the vengeance of She-Royd apparently corresponding to a Shoyd squad chain.
No, I'm just put this 1992 to 2012.
Okay, who's that one for?
Rod squad.
I want to know the name.
Yeah, I know. C Murder.
And then you just, how do you spell this?
C-H-E-N-O. Oh, right here.
So right here, Ivan, we're just adding C-H-E-N-O.
Who all got Rose Gold? I think I think Smooth won't Rose Gold.
With his team fully iced out, his biggest rival out of the way, and arguably the biggest get-back of his career under his belt, it would have made sense for Vaughn to get as far away from the streets as possible and focus on his music career. The day after taking delivery of those OBlock chains, Vaughn was back on Instagram teasing new music. But interestingly, the fans seemed more focused on the get-backs than the songs, flooding the comments with mentions of Duck's death. The comments became so clogged with people talking about Duck that Vaughn eventually had to tell his followers to stop.
Next motherfucker put anything about some big cloud of FB, anything on this bitch. I'm striking niggas out like baseball, come on.
But Vaughn wouldn't avoid the topic for long. As the days went by, he and his team leaned further into social media, growing more accustomed to fans constantly bringing up Duck's killing. A few days later, Vaughn was on IG Live with DQ in a store, and couldn't help but mock the ops just a little, telling his viewers, "Ain't no more FBG."
All that dissing or saying something or even acting like y'all with some shit that y'all know for sure ain't with, I'ma smash that on y'all. I ain't gonna play like that. See, and we know y'all ain't gangsta, y'all on the internet. We know y'all ain't gangsta, y'all ain't trying to do that. Ain't no more FB. You swear. Ain't that right, Big DQ? Ain't that right?
A couple of days later, Vaughn was on OBlock with Glee, telling the ops to pull up.
Tell her what we doing today, Gleese. We on the block.
Get it on, we on the block, look. Pull up, y'all know when he come out, it's a fucking movie. Pull up in the lot. On BD, just pull up in the lot.
2 days later, on August 22nd, an OBlock member went live, saying he was smoking on Duck and telling his viewers that you could get hit anywhere at any time, and that they were still dangerous.
I smoked the wood to the duck. Smoked the wood to the duck, you know? Shit can happen to you. You could die. Whatever can happen, like, you know, anyway, you know, like, it could just happen, like, you know, we dangerous, like, we pull up on you and shit, like, you know, like your taco. I'm on house arrest, but this shit can happen, like, it can happen, like, whenever, wherever. She thinks somewhere in traffic.
The day after that, Kenny Mac posted a picture on Instagram with C Murder, claiming that they were killers. A few days later, on August the 28th, C Murder went live to an audience of around 10 people, but quickly got spooked when the only viewers were fans repeatedly saying that he had killed Duck. One of the most famous incidents of self-snitching in the story surfaced on August 31st, 2020, when an interview with Boss Top from OBlock was released. In the video, Boss Top is surrounded by members on the block, talking about what things were like before fame and discussing his relationships with King Von and Lil Durk. The thing is, if you're going to take a vlogger into a gang stronghold, you should be more careful about what you say and where you say it. This interview with Boss Top contained several very incriminating details. Right from the start, they walk onto the block, telling the camera that their homies are smoking Brick and Duck.
Wanna roll no brick over there?
Yeah.
Wanna roll no brick over there? Wanna put the duck out right there? Oh, we got a lot of people there.
If you look at the comments on this video, you'll see that many people pointed out a car parked right next to them. That's the same model as the one used in FBG Duck's murder. Sure, it could be a coincidence, but it does make you wonder why, less than a month after a gangland murder in the middle of a busy street, these guys are inviting vloggers to their block to record them. In this very interview, Boss Top from OBlock even posts up in front of the camera, telling the vlogger that he is willing to answer anything they ask.
The next question I'm gonna ask me, I'm asking any question. Any question? Any question? I'm asking.
Naturally, he's eventually asked about FBG Duck, and his answer is telling. Boss Top immediately starts talking about the abduction of their deceased homie Troy, before catching himself and shutting up.
FBG Duck, you know, any thoughts on him? Like, did you know him? Who Duck? Did you know him before, like everything?
Like that. I don't know. Okay. All I know, don't say that shit about Troy or rest in peace, Duck.
But if that wasn't enough, a flustered boss top then redirects the camera's attention to the hitters standing behind him, one of whom makes a nose-wiping gesture.
Okay, he's like, you got anything about FBG Duck? You know what I'm saying? You know, don't say shit about Troy. That's it. Don't say shit about Troy. Get that guy over there. What don't ever, you know me. Come on, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know I know that. Stop playing. Stop playing. Don't do that. Stop playing. Talk to somebody else.
Boss Top then goes on to call his OBlock chain a trophy.
Shit ain't no motherfucking chain. This like, it's like a trophy to this our brother, you know? This shit more than the chain. This shit way more than the chain. This shit our lifestyle.
The most incriminating section of the interview was removed from the video about a year before the arrest took place. However, that particular clip was captured and still circulates to this day. Even though that part was edited out, all of the original comments remain, with many noting long before the arrest that Boss Top did, in fact, point directly at one of Duck's shooters. But it would be unfair to place all the blame on Boss Top for the self-snitching. As the days went on, OBlock members continued appearing on camera and social media, leaking incriminating information that appeared to tie them to the crime. On September 2nd, Big W went live on Instagram again, this time arguing with one of FBG Duck's friends, FBG Measle, bragging that they couldn't diss OBlock because OBlock had killed their ops.
This niggas that's killing y'all. Nah, my homies stood over your homies. It's different.
Don't say get stood over.
Who?
Goofy. Niggas red. You keep mentioning, motherfucker, keep mentioning Duck name, brick name.
Fuck Duck. What the fuck? I'm finna grab the Duck joints.
I don't want
to that come out.